Good evening. It is great to be here at the Israeli College of Engineering. Today's event will be on the impact of synthetic biology. SynBio for short, for Foodtech. The synthetic biology revolution is already here. Synthetic biology, including cultivated meat and fermentation proteins, feels like the internet in the 90s, and we believe it is going to be tremendous. SynBio, as the field is known, will undoubtedly influence the future of industries from agriculture to biopharma and fashion. The innovations which sit in the intersection of engineering and biology include microbes engineered to produce products, synthetic genome construction, protein function expansion, and much more. I put this slide especially for the Israeli industry. Even with just a population of 9.5 million people, Israel punches far above its weight when it comes to food and agri-tech. Startups in general thrive in Israel, with Israeli startups raising records of $25.4 billion last year. It passed a long time since the war in 1985, and you can see in the slides the tremendous growth of this sector. The myriad ways that synthetic biology could impact our health, lifestyles, and the environment are hard to predict. But we are excited to bring leaders in the field here in Israel as our panel and discuss this interesting growing field. Thank you to each and every one of you for being here with us this evening. We are very pleased to be able to welcome you all. Bruchim habayim. My name is Liana Naim. I'm a JLM-BioCity External Affairs Vice President, but I also scout for unique, innovative products, especially in the fields of personal and home care technologies for major global players. Thanks for the panelists, JLM-BioCity, wonderful team, and our hosts that generously helped us make this evening come together. Thank you, Professor Debbie Shalev and Professor Tali Rehem. You're welcome. And thank you for helping us to organize this event. Welcome Michal Tzur as the new director of A2B, a startup accelerator. And of course, we couldn't have done it without you all. We'll start by welcoming Professor Debbie Shalev.
I'm very happy to welcome you here on behalf of the Department of Pharmaceutical Education, Engineering. I've been judging a hackathon overnight, so I apologize. First of all, I'm really happy we have a very small number of students here in the audience because the semester hasn't started yet. But we always teach our students that with a good background in engineering, you can do any type of engineering. And for sure, Foodtech is on the list of things that our students can do when they finish their degree. So we're really very happy to have you all here. I'd like to say Shana Tova, Happy New Year to everyone. It's the beginning of the Jewish New Year. It's the beginning of the academic New Year. And on a very personal note, it is the beginning of my new career as the ex-head of the department. I'd like to welcome Dr. Tali Tavol-M as the new head of the Department of Pharmaceutical Engineering to come and welcome you all here. So thank you.
I'm very pleased to see everybody here, and I'm pleased to be here. This is my first day as the head of the department, and I will say that I'm very proud of this collaboration. I'm very happy that you are hosted here by our college, and specifically pharmaceutical engineering department. I think this is a very good opportunity for our students to come and meet you all and to get to know the biotech industry here in Jerusalem. And I hope we all get good vibes from these events, and you're all welcome. And have a good year.
My name is Michal Tzur. I'm the new director of A2B and Innovation, Entrepreneurship, and International Fraud Department here in A2B, in Israel College. I'm very, very excited to be here, so thank you for hosting me. And we are very proud of this collaboration with you, with the Biohouse community, with the department here in Israeli, and of course very proud of our alumni A2B, Maya, is sitting here and will be one of the lecturers tonight. Also, it's a good time to say that our 9 cohort is open to register, so we're waiting for you. If you have a great idea, please tell me. We're waiting for you. We will start in December, and we're opening Israel website and of course with all the social media. Thank you very much and have a great night.
I must confess that I had a personal privilege working with some of the panelists personally. First, I'm happy to invite Dr. Tammy Meron as the Chief Technology Officer of a fresh startup, fresh start food tech Incubator. Dr. Tammy Meron has become one of the central figures in Israel Foodtech, recently selected by the market as one of the most influential Israelis, not least thanks to her position as the Chief Technology Officer of the Fresh Start Foodtech Incubator of Tnuva, Tempo, Outright, and Philister Ventures. I hope I said it correctly, in the Galilee. But her contribution to the industry goes far behind the confines of the incubator. Tammy holds a Ph.D. in biochemistry and food science from the Hebrew University. In 2006, she began managing a department at the American Life Science giant Sigma Aldrich. Since 2009, Tammy served on several technological leadership roles in an impressive number of startup companies in the fields of food and life sciences. Tammy has served as CTO of ZeroEgg, Director of Food Science, Amai Proteins, and CSO of Avomed. I'm sorry if I forgot something. Please, Tammy, you're most welcome. The next very nice colleague is Dr. Dorit Rozner, CTO of the Kitchen Hub of Strauss. Dr. Dorit Rozner is an industry professional who can successfully bring innovation ideas to the market, particularly if you are interested in proprietary functional foods and dietary supplement products. She understands the R&D process and project management, innovation, global business development, sales support, marketing, and the regularity background. She led the research and innovation in several startups as SynBio-driven, developing products and technologies to overcome the microbiome clinical gap, and at Tnuva, developing delivering systems for sugar substances and neutral sweeteners. Dorit holds Ph.D. in organic chemistry from the Weizmann Institute. Please, Dorit. Shay Cohen. Shay is Tnuva's Chief Innovation Officer, who is in charge of local innovation and business development. He is also part of the Tnuva's investment fund, investing in growth fields like food. Shay is leading Tnuva's revolution in the field of meat, fish, and milk substitutes. Shay has a big experience in innovation. Actually, we worked together for several years at the Israeli Unilever Global Open Innovation Port powered by Aleph Farms. Shay is Redefine University graduate of Law and Business Administration. He graduated the 5th Zell Entrepreneurship Program for outstanding students. Please, Shay.
Long time ago.
Our next panelist, she's a little bit late because of the traffic, but we'll start with our friends at the panel.
She is the youngest and she will pay for it.
Yes.
Yes, she will. And she is also the graduate here at the A2B.
So they are all doctors and I'm only opportunistic, business opportunistic thing. So be gentle with me.
This is the most important thing, you know?
Yes, so that's exactly what goes along with JLM-BioCity vision. Well, JLM-BioCity, as you already know, is a nonprofit who is aimed at promoting. Do you need to speak to the mic?
Yes.
It was very definite. JLM-BioCity is aimed at promotion of the bio-business ecosystem of Jerusalem, and the organization actually sees the bio industry as the core, but deals and collaborates and holds projects that are involved with the surrounding of the ecosystem, with the whole ecosystem, which means bringing together bioprofessionals, students, of course, entrepreneurs, company representatives, and investment organizations, or by our business people who are, as you know, as we already know, no money and bli kema and Torah, right? So I'm very happy to host you here. We are very happy, all of the JLM-BioCity team members and ecosystem members. And first, I would like to ask each and every one of you to present your organization and your focus of interest within the organization.
Okay, so I'm the Chief Technology Officer of Fresh Start. Fresh Start is a Foodtech incubator. We are actually an investment body, investing in very early stage, pre-seed and seed. Sometimes people arrive with a very good and strong, scientifically validated concept, and it turned out to become a company, a portfolio company. So this is basically what we are doing, and we are looking to bring disruptive technologies to the global food industry. So we are focused on all of the topics that are within the main focus of the Foodtech industry. We intend to support and initiate at least 40 startups within our
8 years.
Portfolio.
Franchise, yeah. Within
Portfolio.
Our, 8 years of franchise. We already have 10 portfolio companies. So we are interested, of course, in alternative proteins, new technologies, tackle all the issues of bioplastics, waste reduction, new ingredients, and so on. I will leave something for you to say.
That's okay. But I'll just say it's the same.
But different. And I have to say it here out loud. We are friends. We are good friends. Back and before we became CTO, so it's not an issue.
So the same as Tammy, I'm the CTO of the Kitchen Hub by Strauss. It's an incubator established by Strauss in 2015. First Foodtech incubator, since then we have much more. And everybody has a job, I think. The Foodtech incubator has in its portfolio around 23 companies till now in different fields of food. with time, we see more focus on the area of biotech, so we see a lot of cell cultivation, fermentation, precision fermentation, and all the enablers for this industry. If it's new mediums that we are looking for, new strains to create better factories. So all of those are today part of what we are talking about as the future of food.
Hello everybody, it's great being here this evening. I will just say that those two experienced leaders that just spoke are actually managing pre-seed investment vehicles supported by the Israeli Innovation Authority. I think that if you are seeking incubation programs that can support initial ventures, so the Kitchen and Fresh Start are the best programs in Israel today. So I'm from Tnuva. Let's check if anyone here is consuming our products. Great. So we are the national food company, the largest food manufacturer. It's a $2.1 billion group, 6,000 employees, 32 production sites, and manufacturing plants. We manufacture daily between 5 to 7 million products. We have iconic business divisions from the dairy iconic brands of Tnuva. We have joint agreements, joint manufacturing agreements with Yople. And we also have a huge food division that you are probably not aware of, from Tiratzvi and Adom Adom and Astariko and Madanot, Sunfrost and Tnuva Betzim, Tnuva Dagim, and I can go further. But beside being this 100 years old company, we are also the leading alternative protein company in Israel. We are a market leader and a proven pioneer in this field. We established our alternative dairy business 18 years ago. When I'm trying to demonstrate our capabilities in the alternative protein segment, so I'm telling everyone that we have an equivalent portfolio of products for 25 to 30 startups, and then they're starting to understand our manufacturing capabilities. And we actually selling only in Israel 25% of the sales of all Oatly. Okay, Oatly is now traded in, I think, approximately $2.5 billion. We are selling 25% only in one territory. They sell $400 million. In 28 territories, we sell approximately $100 million in one territory. Israel, and demonstrate our strengths. In a nutshell, my responsibility is that we won't miss the future. My role is that we maintain our competitive technological advantage in all areas of the group, but mainly in the alternative protein segments. It's alternative dairy. I'm responsible that our group will penetrate all categories that we are now playing right now, alternative chicken analogs and fish alternatives, eggs, red meat substitutes, and ingredients. And I'm also managing our other investment vehicles.
I want to add something.
Yeah, sure.
I wanted to add, because you mentioned the Israel Innovation Authorities, and I don't know how many of the people here understand or know about this program. So we're supported by the Israel Innovation Authorities. Every company that enters one of the incubators receives a budget from the Israel Innovation Authority of about 2.5 to 3 million shekels. It's changing now, but those are the numbers. 85% come from the government, 15% comes from the owners of the incubators, and we get equity for those companies. So in each of those companies, we are very much involved. We're sitting in their board. We are working and walking all the way with them until they are finishing the time in the incubator. And hopefully they are open and find their own place and grow. One of the example is Aleph Farm, one of our portfolio company that reached to about $150 million. So today they're already their own company in Rehovot, 200 people in their labs, and they started with 2 people only. One is the CEO, one is the CTO. So it's amazing. I think that we are both here building companies, and it's really exciting.
Thank you all. Well, Dorit, you mentioned the investment of the Innovation Authority. And, well, as others, JLM-BioCity, and specifically Diana, and they identified this field, and we had this topic for our events long ago in our plans. And Tammy, I would like to ask you, what is all the buzz about? What are investors, it's mainly startups, right? But a lot of investment, a lot of money is invested, and a lot of interest exists around this field. So what is the potential that investors recognize in this field?
It's huge. So I hope that most of us by now realize that one of the biggest challenges in the food industry today is being able to feed the increasing world population, especially in light of the climate crisis that we are facing. I think that everybody knows that we are facing more and more extreme climate conditions, and it is anticipated to become even worse in frequency and also in intensity. Last week, or it is even now ongoing, the Ian hurricane in Florida. So if we will fast forward 15, 20 years from today, agriculture will not look the same. In terms of the composition of our crops or animals, and also in terms of the yields. So we are actually in a race to be able to feed the increasing world population with nutritional, safe, and tasty, of course, food. It's a huge challenge, and you know what? We are also the first generation who realizes the severity level of this problem, and we are also the last generation who can do something in order to prevent it from becoming irreversible. And we have about 10 years of opportunity to do that. This is why.
Thank you. So this is why. And speaking about sustainable food systems by food engineering, I would like to ask you, Shay, about the very general, not product-wide, but very general business model of the food engineering products, and how it helps and how it promotes food accessibility.
So, we sell supervised products. I don't know if you are familiar, but Tnuva's main raw material, milk, is supervised. The prices are supervised by the government, and also part of the products that we are selling, the selling price to the end consumer is supervised and determined by the government. I think that we, as industry, food manufacturers, represent in the value chains the need for affordability, but also safety. I think that we are talking a lot about innovation in talking about disruptive technologies and a lot of new sources of production methods that will transform the way that we produce our food, but we need to make sure that our food is safe and affordable, sustainable, of course, as much as we can, because we need to feed the whole country. And I think that the business model that we are seeking, because now Foodtech is a venture capital vertical or sector, we have two kinds of types of companies. We have technological companies that, like every other sector, will be bought based upon multipliers on the investment. Somebody will buy the technology and implement it. And technological companies that will transform to be consumer packaged good companies. And they will need to manufacture products and to handle supply chain and to handle demand from the end consumers and the retailers, and they will need to be food companies at the end. So we see two kinds of companies that we are investing in: technological companies and the future food companies of the future. And at the end, it goes to two main issues, or three main issues: safety, unit economics, because we need to be affordable. Okay, at the end of the day, we need to sell food, it's not medicine. And of course, sustainable. We need to make sure it makes good to the world, and so we can't measure it yet, but we need to feel that it's better than what we are doing right now.
Thank you very much. Dorit, in the Kitchen Hub, do you also consider this aspect from the very beginning of development of products? Do you think of the accessibility in this stage of early steps?
Well, definitely, it's like creating, how do you say, the עיר מתוכננת. So we have the privilege, we are starting with new technologies. Let's say there are old technologies, but in the food they are absolutely new. We have to scale it up. We have to we have a gap to overlap with the regulation, that it's not that easy. And all of those things together have to bring the startup to a point from the beginning to think about scaling up, about which countries they are going to work. We're talking about accessibility. One of the advantages today when we're looking on the supply chain, it's terrible. And we all suffer it in the corona time. So today when companies are looking on scale up of fermentation processes, they're already talking about building their facilities outside of Israel as well. So they will be much more accessible for all the consumers. One thing that I want to address also, that the difference today with the consumer than it was years ago, is that the consumer is much more smart. Yes, a smarter guy. They read the labels, they understand what's going on, they're all talking about clean labels, and they're looking what they are entering their mouth today. And part of it is looking on the food as a remedy, yes? Thinking about wellness. It's not a strange word today for a consumer. They are talking about wellness, we are looking on personalization. We all suddenly understand that we are not alone and we live with all the microbes around us and we need to feed them as well. So all of these together bring us today to a new world in the product development, in the accessibility, and with that also to the food safety.
Thank you. Considering the development of the project itself, development of novel food these days, what do you consider, what do you have to take into account when you think of safety, of food safety, of nutrient-dense food, of healthy food.
So you need to think that today, if we are looking at the new technologies, if it's cultivated meat, or if it's new recombinant proteins and fermentation processes, there are a lack of the nutrients that are coming from nature, okay? If we're talking about creating the next steak, so what are you going to do with the B12 and the iron? There's one that sits here from the cultivated meat area, Tal, that she's facing those challenges every day, and those definitely will be part of the new development of those new products. So we look on the nutrients, we look on the taste, and we look on the texture. Okay, everything together should match what we know. We all the time say we want it to look like, we want it to feel like, and we want it to taste like. So this is the main gaps that we are facing today with those new technologies, definitely.
So there are still gaps. And speaking about fermentation, speaking about cell culture meat, tell me, do you think of the challenges that this industry or this seed industry face, even if in the stage of early development?
Sure. So if we are talking about, because this is the scope of this event is SynBio. So if we are talking about adaptation of synthetic biology into the food industry, we are talking about precision fermentation. Of course, we are talking about cultured meat, which is based on cell culture or tissue culture, and we are also talking about molecular farming, which is the utilization of a plant as a bioreactor. So in all those cases, we actually are raising the SynBio into the Foodtech in order to be able to produce more efficiently and in fermentation, for instance, and also in molecular farming, we can skip the utilization or the growing of the animal or the plant, and we can produce the exact ingredients that we are looking for. So the gaps that we see, as Dorit mentioned, are the experience. In food, first of all, it has to be tasty, otherwise nobody would eat it. And I can share with you that last summer, you also were there, we participated in one of the biggest future proteins, Foodtech, something like that, in New York. And they served us with the alternative proteins, dishes, dinner, lunch. If this is the thing that they're going to give us to eat, I'm not there. I think most of us are not there. We still have the gap to overcome in terms of appearance. In order to have the same experience, the appearance, the flavor, the texture, all of that is missing. We are not there yet. And in products that are relatively considered good, such as Beyond and Impossible, as Dorit mentioned, take a look at the label. It's too long, with many ingredients that are not necessarily, least to say, healthy. So the gap is to being able to create those products with minimally processed technology, with minimal utilization of preservatives and thickeners and all those E numbers that are unhealthy. And not all E numbers are unhealthy. It's not true. But some of them are, and especially if we are going to consume more and more from them, it's going to be difficult for us to digest. And in terms of safety, if we are comparing biotech or life science or pharma, with food, in pharma, we actually consume small doses of the active ingredients for under the supervision of a doctor for limited time, typically. And in food, we consume as much as we want for whole usage for all of our life. So in terms of safety, there is still a lot to be learned, what we should look at, what is missing. We don't know yet because there is not enough experience in this manner, but this is really a gap that we need fast to be able to close. You want to say something?
Yeah, I want to answer. Look, we are manufacturing a lot of alternative protein categories right now, and we see ourselves as a category builders. I think that in order to close the gap, we are aiming for hybrid products. I think that most of players like us understand that the next level will be plant-based products that combining novel ingredients based on fermentation and cultivated meat or production. I think that these kind of hybrid categories are challenging because we need a major, as Tammy said, a major breakthrough in taste and texture in order to enable more consumer adoption. In our business, without consumer adoption, we can invest until tomorrow in startups and in brands and in manufacturing capabilities, and it all can be glamorous, but at the end, a lot of consumers need to choose to pay for this kind of products. And I think we all right now seeking the right novel ingredients that will be combined in plant-based categories, in all plant-based categories, that will provide the next generation of products.
Thank you. Well, Shay, may you
That's
continue
it.
with the next
I'm
question.
finishing answering your question and I'm speaking about what I want. I was too polite. Tammy knows me. I can't be polite for so much.
Too long.
Too long. Yeah, it's
Well,
hard for me.
you're lucky, Shay, because what I'm going to ask you is exactly what you want to speak about.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. I wanted to ask you about your competitor landscape, or how do you and Tnuva plan to deal with the fast-changing atmosphere, with changing in the market? How do you see branding, marketing, other aspects? And I will ask you the same question.
You know, it's not secret. We are competing with Strauss
No, really?
in certain categories. But I think that when we see the disruption right now in Foodtech, and also the disruption that Tammy and Dorit mentioned about the end consumer, because we all have our personalized nutritional Bible, right? Everybody has his own Bible right now and needs, but we also see a financial disruption. Okay? We see a lot of venture capital money is entering our very traditional old industry. So right now our landscape seems very messy. A lot of small players, innovative, that are coming from nowhere, and they are cooler than us. Okay? We manufacture between 5 to 7 million 5 to 7 million products a day, and we have plants and brands and innovation and R&D capability and safety, and they are cooler than us. And faster than us. So the landscape seems quite messy, but it's better to be part of the party than to be eaten by your future competitors. So we are investing in the future. We are investing in the future of our competition in order to be relevant, but also in order to solve major challenges as Strauss and Tnuva and Nestle and Unilever are facing daily, because there is a cap for this industry, and we need to find new sources, new solutions, new ways to feed the population. Good answer?
Excellent answer. Tammy, can you also take this question? Yes, I on purpose because I want to ask you another question.
So
Anyway,
Dorit.
so Tammy.
Tammy. So what was the question?
So the question was, what is your plan, or how would you guide others, entrepreneurs and companies in early stages? Because Tnuva is at a different stage, different point of view, and Shay specifically has a different point of view.
I
of the
know.
business. Yeah.
You know,
So, and that's why you're all here, and we're very happy to have you all here. How would you guide others, and what is about the plans for dealing with competition, for change, for ever-changing atmosphere?
Okay, so when a venture, startup, an entrepreneur, a student arrives and talks with me or with us, when we arrive to the section of competition, so we are looking for what are we going to do better than the competition. First of all, if there is a competition, it's good because you are relevant. It's interesting field. So what are we going to do better than the competition? What we want to do better than the competition? Where are the gaps that were not bridged yet? What is and we are looking for cost effectiveness. Of course, price parity is one of the biggest challenges if we are talking about SynBio adaptation into food industry. Of course, so this is why today we are looking for enabling technologies. You also mentioned that before. Enabling technologies, namely technologies that would make the process more efficient, more sustainable.
Cheaper.
What else?
Cheaper.
The ingredients more stable and tolerance to food processing. Maybe if we are talking about growth factors that are being added into the cultivated meat, we want them to be able to recycle them, to have longer life, and so on and so forth. And SynBio can enable us to do that. Actually, SynBio is one of the most promising fields today in those technologies, because there is so much we can prepare a protein that derives from nature, which is allergenic. We can eliminate the allergenicity by utilizing SynBio. Even if we go upper in the value chain, we can utilize bioinformatics, high throughput screening, computational design, and so on and so forth, to prepare our ingredients and products even more than they are today.
Great. Thanks. Yes, Shay.
Yeah, we will moderate it from now. I think we are living in an exciting times. Okay, if I need to choose, I want you to remember one message from this panel. If you need to choose between biotech, medicine, or foodtech, choose foodtech today. It's an exciting times and area. I think that there is a huge opportunity in this field, not only financial, but much deeper for disrupting a whole industry. I think that the funding opportunities are much diverse, and but not only. And I think that it will be more profitable, challenging, and exciting. And if anyone here has interpretation, yeah. So don't. Foodtech is the next field, and it's important for us to be part of it. And there's a lot of food tech companies that are seeking for experienced employees, executives, workers from these kind of fields. And I think that you all should consider it. This is the main message I aim for, because we are seeking for quality personnel.
I just want to add something, because you're talking about the relationship between startups and big corporates as an easy thing. It's not an easy thing to look at a startup inside a corporate. And this is something that big companies today are learning how to do. Okay, when a startup comes to a corporate, the corporate looks at him as he's going to sell them a raw material. Bring me your raw material, I'll try it. If it works, I want like 10 tons. When a startup comes to a company like that, he doesn't know how to produce 10 tons. In the best case, he knows to do like 5 to 10 kilograms. And he doesn't understand anything about the need in the industry, about the regulation, about the kosher. And it's like starting from the beginning. So when a big corporate takes the opportunity to work with startups, he needs to understand that this is a win-win situation. Both parties are going to study and learn from each other here. The corporate will understand new technologies. The startup will understand the industry. And together they will be able to develop the next generation of products. So each of those companies today, most of them, let's say, are building teams inside those corporates that have the experience how to work with startups. And this is a very important point when we are talking about the future of food and how those startups are going to enter the market.
I totally disagree.
Of course.
It's much more challenging than what Dorit described. It's different languages, okay? They speak in a different languages, and sometimes you need to be the translator, and sometimes you need to be the facilitator, and sometimes you need to be the investor. But at the end, I don't think that any startup can buy or can create the required capex for plants and the supply chain. And at the end, there is a lot of food manufacturers that can provide the right beta site programming and the right collaborations additional to investments. And it's respectfully tough, but it's the only way.
It's the only way.
Yeah, because today we are a local giant. Strauss are international company as well. I think that today to be a local giant it's not sufficient, and to be a startup it's not sufficient. You need to create a combination between the capabilities of both sides, and it's tough. It's tough. It's like
Why you're disagreeing? We're talking the same.
because
He has to.
much.
It's definitely a win-win situation.
They will,
Yeah.
we all will listen.
Yeah.
You want the mic?
I want, Tammy wants the mic.
How many students have we here? Raise your hand. Enough students. So if ever you will work in a startup and a big company, multinational company, the one that you wanted to reach will tell you, send me your samples. Ever send your samples unintended. You should be there. You should build an agenda for a workshop with the teams, because at the end, the collaborations is between people. You have to create a relationship with the people at the big company. It takes time. You cannot make it in one day, and you cannot send samples. Nobody knows your ingredients and product as much as you do. So you have to be there to deliver all the good things that your technology, product, ingredient can do, and never send something.
But don't think as a startup that you know everything.
You don't.
Be modest and show transparency to the corporate. And this is a very important point I can say here.
I disagree again. I think that you need to send samples to serious players, and at the end of the day, you will find the right partners to partner with. But you need to see that the other side is serious enough to sign the right documentation and agreements. Okay. Let's build this generation right.
Well, we have another surprising panelist. It's another barrier to a lot of scientific products. So, who of you would like to take this question? Would you like, yeah.
So what want to talk about?
We'll start.
Well, we have to remember that most of those new technologies are coming from the biotech and the pharma. And when we are talking about scaling up and about production of those ingredients that are all food grade, it's not only the ingredients, but it's the process itself. For instance, when we are growing the cells, so if we're looking on the FDA, it's not only the FDA, it's the FDA and the USDA that have to work together. It's the first time that they need to do it this way. They're not used to it. It's something that they need to learn, and especially if we're talking about even worse on genetically modified cells. So the United States is better, Europe doesn't want to hear about it. And let's talk about novel food. Everything that we are preparing now considered to be novel food. Novel food process in Europe can be very long. So what do you do first? Where do you go? Do you start in the United States because it's easier, or you push to the novel food because eventually if you will have novel food, the market will be open to you? And if we will take it to Israel, it's even worse because there is no novel food, so what are we supposed to do here? So the regulator will tell you that it's wonderful that there is no novel food, because now we are much more flexible. You can look on the regulation, you can look on your process, and we might approve it. Will it happen? Never. All new ingredients that we are facing, if it's cell cultivation, if it's recombinant proteins, eventually will have to be in the market somewhere in order that other will approve it. So what we see in Israel is a lot of companies going to the United States first. It's a challenge that all the companies are facing today.
Yeah, I just want to add that I didn't spoke a lot about it, but we at Tnuva Ventures are also investing in more mature portfolio companies. We invested in Remilk, and 6 months, I think a bit more, we invested in a joint venture in the cultivated meat in Pluristem. And we are pushing our portfolio companies to the east, to Singapore. I think that we see there
It's much faster.
yeah, a huge acceleration processes of regulatory approvals. I think it's important that we find small markets with convenient regulation spaces to operate, or freedom to operate, and I think that there is a huge opportunity in the East.
I want to emphasize what Shay said. I agree with you, Shay. This is why I came. So if we are talking about Singapore, it's something that was highlighted during the COVID period, because they realized, all the borders were shut down in one day, no transportation, and the food industry until then and also today is global. So they realized that they have no agriculture, no food industry. About 90% of their food is being imported. So this is their incentive to promote new technologies, because they realize, and those are the markets that are approving faster because their incentive or skin in the game is bigger.
Thank you.
I have just still one thing, just to add. Companies such as Redefine that decided to build plant outside of Israel, especially in Europe, the idea or the incentive around it, first of all, the government around Denmark, let's say, is really pushing forward new technologies and innovation because they are the best in scaling up, but they less know about innovation. And another important thing is that in the moment that they are building those facilities in Europe, the process to novel food, it's more, I can say, more easier than it is today, especially for me.
Thank you. So I have just one last question. Well, if you had to choose just one, very brief, tip for an entrepreneur, and it will be on top of all the advices that you already gave, Shay. What would you really give to an entrepreneur in the field of food tech?
Be serious. Like, be very, very methodologic about a lot of issues, and that you are exploring at the beginning before you are talking to investors. Research, do your research right, build your team right, find professionals, validate your technologies, validate the business opportunity, validate the challenge, and then start talking with investors.
You almost said everything, but I think that if I have to mention one important thing, is definitely the team. It's all about the team. You can have a wonderful technology, a disruptive one, but if your team doesn't know the job and doesn't know to work with one another, there will not be a startup. So you work with them every day, 24/7. So choose right your people.
Everything they said.
Thank you. Okay, we can have a few, just three questions from the audience. If any of you have a question. Yeah.
What is your name? Hi, my name is Ofra. When a company joins any one of your accelerators, Incubator. I'm sorry.
Be serious.
How long? I didn't do my due diligence. How long are they planned to stay? And what is the next step? I'm sure you have what you think should be the next step for them.
So during the evaluation or the due diligence process, it depends on the team, because it's a ping pong of information. It takes between 2 to 4 months in order to, there is the intro meeting, okay, so, and then you can say go, no go. And then we go further and deeper into the technology, into the team, into regulatory, into IP. We didn't talk about intellectual property, of course, and especially in Incubator, one of the biggest issues is to create barrier for entry for the competition. So we want
the assets.
Yeah, so we want to create intellectual property. This includes patents, includes special know-how, and so on and so forth. Trade secrets sometimes. So this is all the aspect that we measure or study during the period of due diligence. After that time, when we feel that this is a good investment, the team feels that it is a good investment. I'm the one who is responsible for the technology evaluation, and our CEO, Noga, is responsible for the business case. Of course, we are accompanied by our experts and our colleagues from Tnuva, Tempo, our product Finister, and our global collaborators. And then we bring them to the investment committee. Once we have the approval of the investment committee, we submit them into the Israeli Innovation Authority. it takes around 6 months from the first meeting until the investment is approved.
It's important to add, because there is a wrong perception about incubators, that it takes more time. But if you take the average time of a financing round, you will see that it's around 9 months. Between 9 months to 12 months or 1 year. So at the end, to raise money, it's a long process. You need to come prepared to hear a lot of no's and a few yeses. And in incubators, the whole incubation process is much more defined, because you are submitting those applications with the Israeli Innovation Authority, and they are obliged to provide answer in certain time.
In addition to that, I believe that each entrepreneur or company that approaches incubator, either Dorit or our incubator, are getting a lot of know-how, experience, and information from those meetings, because we are helping them to tailor and to focus on their actual technology. They can arrive with one food application and go out with a technological platform. And we also assist them with the fundamental, the fundable milestones and the technological milestones, and how to budget it and so on. And you know that statistically wise, startups are, I think, 1 of 10 is successful, and in the incubators program, under the incubator program, the statistics goes up to 37% of success. So it makes a difference.
Sometimes, entrepreneurs, as Tammy mentioned, are coming with a very nice technology, but the application is absolutely wrong. And the big advantage when they are talking to us and they do not commit to anything is that we focus them and we tell them it's better to think about another application. Come to us when you are, when you're fully cooked. We will be able to look in this again, and it's really helpful for new entrepreneurs.
Thank you. If anybody has another question, you can ask outside in the coffee place. I would like to thank JLM-BioCity team members, and specifically Liana Naim and Joe Van Warren, co-founder of JLM-BioCity, for organizing this event. And thank you very much, our panelists, leaders in the field of Foodtech in Israel, for your precious time and precious insights that you shared with us. Thank you very much.